Ma'am, the first one is statement coverage.
Okay.
Second one is path coverage. FSM coverage.
Okay.
Block coverage and toggle coverage, ma'am.
Okay. So what do you mean by toggle coverage?
In toggle coverage, it measures how well the signals and ports are toggled during simulation runtime.
Okay. What is the FSM coverage?
It measures whether all the states and the possible transitions are given in a FSM state machine, ma'am, during a simulation.
Okay. What is the block coverage?
So block coverage measures whether the type of statements which you have written in a block, whether all the statements are covered during a simulation, it's measured, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Okay, fine. Thank you. So let us start today's session. Before that, so yesterday I was telling, right, we have one thing which we haven't covered, that is the coverage. The coverage with clause, for example, means we can have a module. Inside that, we can have a cover group. Inside that cover group, in the cover point, we can write a bin, like we can give some condition actually. So here what they are doing is 1 down to 10 means our bin's value should be within 1 down to 10 range. And then we are using an with constraint, we are giving like item mod to is 0. It means what all bins will come is from 1 to 10 means it is we are trying to fetch the values like even values. So here in this point you can give any different conditions. Here this is a simple example, but you can try different conditions and check those bins are getting covered or not. Okay. So this one I wanted to show you guys, like we can have a cover bins even with a clause, means we can write some condition as well. Okay. And then we will see the coverage collectors, and we will start assertions tomorrow because most of the people are not available today. So let's start the assertions from tomorrow. We will see some coverage collectors in UVM, and then if anyone have any queries, we will check. Otherwise, we will ramp up the session for today. So the coverage collectors in UVM, basically we have coverage collectors in UVM. So like if these will be used in the coverage driven verification, for example, we have saw the how the coverage model is there, everything is there. But for example, if in UVM environment you are writing a coverage model, then what all things you should be aware of. So that is what it's like. Each area of the functionality required to be tested and described in terms of values and events, right? Means we are writing different cover points. So for that we have different test cases. For all these test cases we will have a coverage model. So that coverage model basically is nothing but a coverage collector which gets the transactions from the monitor, the driver will send the data through the interface to the DUT, and then DUT will again send back the data to the monitor. DUT will give the output. So the driver will put the input, the stimulus, it will write the inputs, and then the DUT will provide the output to the monitor, and then monitor will collect it and give to the coverage model. So that particular coverage model is nothing but the coverage collector, right? So which the coverage model again consists of a cover group. Inside cover group we have cover points. Again inside cover points we have the bins, right? This is the entire flow. So for that, in the coverage collector, in UVM, we have some base class called UVM subscriber, so which will provide some more features. Okay, so that thing we will have a look today. So a coverage collector is an analysis component that collects coverage information through system verilog cover groups. Basically, analysis component is nothing but there is a one to many. If it is something like broadcast, means from monitor, there are something like analysis ports also, right, in the UVM. So that usually implies from broadcast, from one component to the n number of components it can share. So that's why the coverage collector is like it is collecting the data from the monitor. It can collect from some reference model. Everywhere it can collect, right? So this is nothing but an analysis component which is collecting the coverage information. The how will it collect the coverage information through the cover groups, right? So that is what is mentioned. So to get the coverage information, what are the sources? Basically, we have a cover group that will be instantiated in our coverage model or the coverage collector. So this cover group, again, we need to sample it, right? That's what it's saying. The cover group samples transaction data that has been extracted by the monitor from the interfaces tied to the DUT pins or bound to the internal DUT modules, which I have explained initially. That is what they are mentioning. So we have a coverage collector. Inside that we have a cover group. There we have different cover points. We can have n number of cover points. Where we have a write function. In this write function itself, we need to use that sample method. This particular cover group will be sampled in this write method. Okay. So and then at the coverage collector, we have the analysis export. Again, this information, if we want to send somewhere else, then we can use an analysis export. That way, we will just connect it in the environment. So if you see what exactly we have, the coverage collector should extend from the UVM subscriber. UVM subscriber is a base class provided by the UVM from which we can extend its properties and all by having a coverage collector. Okay, that's what your basic any of the coverage class, user defined coverage class should be extended from the UVM subscriber, and you have to pass the transactions in that by giving the hash. So therefore, we should also implement the write function here. So the coverage collector, that's what it's saying. It inherits an UVM analysis imp named analysis export from the UVM subscriber base class. As we are extending it, whatever is required for the coverage collector, everything can be extended from that particular base class. So this export should be connected to the analysis port of a monitor component. So now we are saying that when the monitor, the coverage is getting, it is connected to the coverage collector, right? So there should be some mechanism, right? So we have something called analysis port, which is used to connect these two, monitor to the coverage collector. That's what it is telling. Okay, so this port to this export we need to connect. So this connection we need to do in the where exactly this is reciting. For example, it is present in the env of the test bench in the UVM. Then in the environment we need to, in the connect phase, we need to connect these two. By using the hierarchical handles, we will just connect it. And then a coverage collector can be instantiated inside an agent also. If we want the coverage collector can be instantiated inside an agent, because in the agent we will get the all the protocol specific activity, right? Means from the driver it is out. It is depends on your architecture basically. It can be inside the agent or it can be outside the agent. It all depends on your architecture. So they are just mentioning the different possibilities it could happen. And then in the write function, the collector should sample the transaction. So I said, right, the cover group which we are creating, we need to sample it. But where exactly we need to sample it means in the write function. So I have also the code for this, so you guys can understand. So this is a class. We have already discussed the cover groups can be used inside program, class, module, interface, anywhere, right? So we are so far we have saw the program and module. We haven't saw in the class, I guess. So this is an example where the cover group can be used inside the class also. So in UVM, we have all the different classes itself, right? So you definitely the cover group will be used in the class basically. So here the class, we have written some coverage collector, which is extended by the UVM subscriber. Here we are passing over the transaction basically. So then we have we have a cover group. Inside cover group, we have different cover points. Okay, so the label here we have written source address.
Actually, I can't able to see any class. It was a module TB with one cover point used underscore A. I can't see a class.
Are you not able to see my screen?
I can see your screen, but it is something different with module TB,
Okay.
bit A, and option dot per underscore instance, and cover point is.
Wait. In that case, you guys are not following the slides.
No, I didn't see any slides.
Oh, you.
Yes, ma'am. Same here.
Yes, ma'am. Like we are only listening your audio, no slide is going on.
Did no one mention? Fine.
Ma'am, I'm thinking you are.
Fine. Thanks, Abhinaya. At least you have mentioned me. Otherwise, the entire session would have gone like that.
Okay.
Yeah, fine.
Can you start again because I didn't got anything.
Funny, yeah. Okay. Okay, we have coverage collectors like this. So basically, in UVM, we have, that's why I say let's make an interactive session. Okay. Okay, so the coverage collectors in UVM, we have, like we saw different, how is the coverage, now at least is it visible?
Yes, ma'am, yes.
Now it's visible, yes.
So we have coverage collectors in UVM. Basically, what we have gone through so far, we have seen some codes, right, regarding the coverage. We have see the coverage model and then cover group and then cover points, all this. So here we are having a coverage collectors in UVM. Basically, the same thing. We have some name called coverage collector. So here the coverage driven verification is a methodology where verification goals are defined in terms of functional coverage points. You all know this. We have already exercised the codes and all. So here basically they are telling that the coverage collectors are used for the coverage driven verification, and the coverage collector is an nothing but an analysis component which collects the coverage information through the system level of cover groups. You all know how to write a cover group, all that, right? So they are just telling that the coverage collector is nothing but an analysis component which is used to collect the coverage information through the system level of cover groups. This is about the coverage collectors in UVM. So here, if you see, this is how it will look in coverage collector. We have a cover group. Inside that, we have different cover points. The cover points, there is a no limit. You can have n number of cover points, and we would sample the cover group, right? In our EDA links, I would have shown you the code there. What we would do in an initial begin end block, we would do the sample method, right? But usually in the UVM, in any of the coverage collector class, where we have to do is we have to implement a function and called write method. Inside that function write method, we have to sample our particular cover group. That's what this diagram is trying to explain us. Okay. So the cover group has to sample the transaction data from any of the monitor, right? So how the flow will go is from the driver will drive the data, means it will drive the data to the DUT, and then the DUT will provide the output, which will be collected by the monitor. This monitor will come and give it to the coverage collector. So how this monitor will give it to the collector is through some port mechanism will be there, right? There should be some connection between those. So that is what here it is explained, like our coverage collector will extend from the UVM subscriber class. This UVM subscriber class is a base class.
Write
Yeah.
write method is a TLM code.
Sorry.
Write method is a TLM code.
Write method is not a TLM port. Write method is a method of this particular coverage collector. We have a write method inside this.
Then UVM subscriber is base class or child class?
Base class in the UVM. Which any of your coverage class has to be extended from that particular UVM subscriber base class. Okay.
Yeah.
Then whatever cover group is there, that has to be sampled inside that write function. Okay, so that's what it's telling. And the coverage collector, as it is extended from the UVM subscriber, right? So it inherits some of its properties, right? There it inherits one of the UVM analysis implementation port called analysis export from the UVM subscriber class. And here we will in this they have shown, right? So this is the analysis export, which is inherited from this UVM subscriber class. So here, if it is export, it means at the monitor side, we will be having a port. So these two we need to connect in the environment. So here, for suppose I have a UVM environment, inside that we have to connect the monitor to the coverage collector. Okay, so that monitor will be having the port and the coverage collector will be having an export. These two we need to connect in some connect phase in the ENV. Okay. You are
Ma'am,
something? Yeah.
I have one doubt.
Yes, go ahead.
Actually, UVM subscriber is a separate, and monitor is the part of active agent.
Okay.
How can we actually these two things are only connected by TLM ports? Other than that, no option. Analysis port is a TLM port.
TLM port is different, analysis port is different. There are two different types of ports. If you have UVM knowledge, I can explain you that, but here it will deviate from the topic. But you,
How many types of TLM ports, ma'am?
there are TLM ports. The TLM 5.4 ports are there, and then we have other than TLM ports, we have something called analysis ports. You just go through and come back. Okay.
I have a doubt. So it's like from monitor we are inheriting the UVM subscriber,
No,
so that we will.
it's not like that. Let me
Okay.
the code, for example. Here, this is your coverage collector, means your coverage class basically. The Wishbone IRQ coverage collector is your coverage class name. Okay, you are giving a name to this, and this is extending from the UVM subscriber. This UVM subscriber is the base class in the UVM. Okay. So when you are extending this collector from the UVM subscriber, it means you can inherit the properties of the UVM subscriber, right? So here in the UVM subscriber, we have some ports also. So that is what it is telling, like the coverage collector inherits an UVM analysis implementation named called analysis export from the UVM subscriber. So at the coverage side, if we have an export, the other side should be monitor. Like how it will be means, I will show you. Like this is an okay, if this is an let's consider that this is our top or
Ma'am, sorry to bother, ma'am. Are we discussing about UVM? Sorry, I joined late, ma'am.
that's okay. We are not actually, we are discussing a coverage collector in UVM. We have, right? This is a little advanced concept in the coverage. We have in
Yeah.
we have UVM subscriber. Basically, if we
Right.
UVM environment, if we are writing in coverage, then that has to be extended from the UVM subscriber, right? So regarding that, we are discussing. And before that, we had just discussed one code.
So monitor.
That I will share the link, then you can go through that. So in that case, Abhinay has some doubts, so that we are discussing. So for example, this is top and this is test and this is ENV. Okay. And then inside ENV, we have an agent for suppose. In agent, we will be having driver, monitor and sequencer. Okay. So now, for suppose we have any coverage collected inside the CNV only. So from this monitor, actually the monitor will be capturing the output from the DUT basically. Okay. So on the drive between these two, we will be having an interface. Okay, this through the driver will send the data through this interface to the DUT, and the DUT will output the data, and that will be captured by the monitor. So the now monitor has to give this data to the coverage, right? So in order to get the coverage information, we have all the cover groups in the coverage model. So those things so now, for example, what here it is saying is in the coverage collector, we have some analysis export. So this analysis export has to be connected through monitor, right? So the monitor will be having some port like this. The port is represented with some like this, okay? And export will be like this. So if you know the UVM concepts, you will know what are different types of ports. We have TLM ports, TLM FIFO ports, and we have analysis ports. We will use the analysis ports when we want to broadcast the information from one to many. In that case, we use the analysis ports. Okay, so
So the analysis port is a separate module. We connect the monitor to it. Is it like that?
it's not a module. It's called a port basically. Abhinay, you know
Okay.
or you don't know the UVM concepts?
I don't know the UVM concept, but I have some knowledge in environment.
Okay.
So I can understand the monitor, all this stuffs. I can understand that, but this analysis,
If
I
you
have.
if you get time, just go through the UVM ports. Okay, TLM ports,
Okay.
ports and all. Then you will get an idea. But just
Okay.
knowledge, and then again, if when you get time, you just go through those. Then you will get that sync. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
This monitor to the coverage we will connect through the port. Monitor
Port.
will have
Okay.
the coverage will have analysis export. Like in system,
Okay.
have something like mailbox, right? Likewise, in
Yeah.
have the
Okay. Okay.
like that.
Okay. So okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that is what is being told. And the other thing is this particular cover group, which we were seeing so far in the code, we would execute in some initial begin, right? But usually in the coverage collector, we will be having some write function. Inside that write function, we need to sample that particular cover group. Okay, now I will show you the code. So this is a example code of a coverage collector in UVM. So here we have a coverage collector which is extending. Here you will pass the transaction handle actually. So it is parameterized. This hash is nothing but you are using a parameterized. So parameterized means whatever transactions you are getting are in the form of this transaction handle or whatever transaction class you are using. Those kind of transactions only it will pass. It means that using this parameter. Okay, then we have cover group. Then we have function new. In UVM, you need to use a function new where you have to create the cover group. A cover group is also like a class. Like class, how you just declare the handle and then you create it like that, right? Even cover group is like that. So you have to create it. So where will you create it? In a function new. So if you know the UVM concepts, then you will know all this like string name, UVM component, parent, all this. If not, you have to go through that and then come back to this. Okay. So then this cover group name, whatever we are giving, right? That I have created it. Okay. And then this is one, yesterday we have gone through some built-in methods of the coverage, right? There we have something like get coverage. So what will you do is this particular, you are returning this source dot get coverage. Through this, you will get the coverage exact what is the coverage information. So there is one function taken here, but this is not actually means mandatory in all the things. What are the mandatory thing is? One is that it should be extended from UVM subscriber. The other thing is you will have a cover group and you will have n number of cover points. And in cover points, you will have bins. And this cover group has to be created inside a function new. And then this has to be sampled in the function void write method. That is it.
Where is the factory registration?
Here we didn't do the factor. This see, when it is a focus on coverage thing, you have to observe those things. This is not the entire code which I am sharing with you, right? So here I am trying to explain you the coverage. So that's why I am trying to show only those things. Okay.
Is there any possible to use phases?
If it is necessary, you will use. If it is not necessary, you will not use. If you have something built phase, you want to create it, then you will use. If it is not necessary, why will you use?
Ma'am, but without
Shall
phases, how?
we write in cover groups in under any phase?
No, I think we can write in the run phase also. Yeah, we can write the run phase also, but yeah.
Ma'am, basically you have a write function here, right?
Yeah.
So what will happen now? Monitor will get the output. Monitor will convert that to transaction, and monitor analysis port put this transaction in the analysis port, and then that will automatically trigger this write.
Yeah.
That will automatically trigger this write, right?
Yes.
But I'm confused how that will trigger the new function. So that part I'm confused. And since the new function, that part, who will trigger the new function? So this part I could not understand.
No. Here we in the function new, this will get created. First, the cover group should be created, right, in order to use it further. So this will get created here, and then after we have to sample the cover group, right? Then only our cover group will come.
That I understand. That I understood. But my point is, like, okay, monitor is calling something, right? Monitor is sending some analysis port data to the, so monitor is sending this transaction to the analysis port, and it is sending to this coverage collector. Now this coverage collector, like how this coverage collector new function will be called? Like this coverage collector has to be, I mean, I'm not sure if you're getting my point. Like, so this is a class, right? So we have to create an object of this class somewhere. So that will be done in monitor, I guess, right? Probably.
This is only the coverage class. ENB, somewhere we will be instantiating this coverage class, then we will be creating it over there.
Yeah.
Because this is inside an agent. So in agent, we have to create it. Or if it is inside an ENV, in ENV, we have to create it. Based on your architecture, you have to create it there. So this is only the snippet coverage model, basically.
Yeah. Okay. According to hierarchy, then yeah, I got it. Then.
So whenever we create an memory for this class, the write function will be automatically called. Is it like that?
You have
no.
Write this function void write.
Okay.
Inside that, this will get sampled.
Okay. So but whatever we do, if we have this sample method, it will, whatever the function name is, it will be, if we give the function name, then it will be called, right? Why are we using write function?
No, this is an inbuilt function, right? This write is the inbuilt function which is there with the UVM subscriber. Means when you call this function void write, no, it is like from UVM subscriber we are inheriting, right? So those properties it will have. That's why we.
Actually, if you see the monitor code, no, it will. If you see the monitor, it will be very clear.
Yes.
Like how we are calling. If you see the monitor code, then monitor code for this.
No.
So the monitor needs the property of the UVM subscriber. That's why we are using this write function.
Monitor doesn't need anything. He's telling in monitor also we have like that. Means wherever we have, for this you have to understand the TLM codes actually.
Okay.
Concept.
Okay, I will just go there, have a look at it, and I will come back to this.
Then if you have any queries, you can ask me. I can explain.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So now, I think this is the same thing.
Ma'am.
Yeah, this is the same thing.
Once I have one doubt regarding code.
Regarding?
Code.
What is that? Okay.
Can you show the code once?
Yeah, I have showed, right?
Function void write. I have one doubt regarding that, ma'am. Actually, function void means there is no written value.
Yes.
At that time, we are using only function void keyword.
Yeah.
So task also doing same. It cannot return any value.
Okay.
In this place, I can implement this task. Is it possible?
If it's a base class, it is a function. How can you implement task?
In the place of function void.
In the base class, do you know TLM ports, TLM exports, all those? Do you know?
I don't know much about it.
Once go through those TLM ports concept, then you can come back. Even in the next session also,
Is it default?
yeah, it's default. You first go through those TLM ports concepts, then you will definitely understand why we are using this right method, all that. So there we have the proper things. When, for suppose, how will I explain? If in a base class you have some function, okay, and it does not return something, okay. In the child class, you are inheriting a child class from the base class, and now in place of that particular function, can you use task? You can't, right? Because you want to use that particular function, that's why you have inherited it. So what's the point using something else instead of that? It doesn't make sense, right? That's it. Okay. So anyone have any queries regarding the different things in the coverage? So with this, we are done with the coverage. So from tomorrow, we'll start with the assertion. So if anyone have any questions regarding coverage, we can discuss. Otherwise, we can ramp up the session.
Ma'am, can you please explain about test case?
What test case?
I don't know, ma'am. Actually, how we can write? Just give you a brief introduction.
That
Take
is
one example.
workshop doesn't tell about the test case and all, right? That needs a lot of inputs to you. Just test case is not a simple thing. You have to understand entire environment, everything, right? So we will deviate from our course outcomes. What I can say. So you can ask something related to coverage.
In this curriculum, you will provide that facility, ma'am. Why saying like that?
Well, ma'am, yesterday you showed the I2C code, no? There is a test case in that. We can open that. You showed one I2C, right?
We can tell, but see, the test case thing, we have to explain the entire thing, like.
Okay. So we have this.
Yeah.
We have this. We have this test plan, and then according to test plan, we generate stimulus. Then we go it through a driver and went also to DUT, and then we basically DUT response go to monitor. Monitor send it to the scoreboard and this coverage model. Coverage model then sample it, and then generate the coverage report. Right. This is all we are doing, right?
Yes.
But now. So this is using the sample method. Now using the pause edge clock method in the coverage model, how will that work? Because the DUT output is already available. So DUT pause edge clock and this coverage model, I'm not sure. How will we use the pause edge clock for transition? So that part I'm not sure in the because by the time DUT already sends the output, right? Then only monitor send it to the coverage model, right?
So
DUT
will be there with respect to the phases, right? Means like if we are using UVM, so all the phases are for this thing only, right? For the synchronization things, isn't it? If you have any scenario or you have worked anywhere, that also if you can show, I can explain. It all depends on the architecture basically. So
okay,
cannot just comment like that. If you have anything, you can show. I can explain any thing. I have no.
Actually, my doubt is just that okay, if we use pause edge of clock in cover group, now that clock is not synchronized with the DUT which we are testing. because by the time we sample it in the coverage group, UVM
Provided
subscriber.
per clock means, for example, you have to, it's not like here in examples we give like that, right? Just a clock or something. But if you are providing some clocking event, it should make sense, right? It should provide, you should be doing it some top level clock. You have to define the hierarchy, and that particular clock you will get here, that particular signal, like top dot this with the hierarchy only you have to get that. Simply any clock you cannot use, right? So
Okay, but then that clock will be look like, okay, at time period 0, a
yeah.
DUT gives the output. But at time period, let's say time period 2, the UVM subscriber is trying to sample the values. So basically, there is
you can also do this way, like in the coverage model, no, you can use the RAL model. Using RAL model also you can get the DUT values. Okay, and through that, through those also you can do the cover group analysis. For example, you have a protocol, inside that you have a design. For that, if you access through, you can instantiate your RAL model handle also in the cover group with this coverage collector itself, and then that you can through that handle you can fetch that mirrored value. Okay, and that you can try to see and you can run that function to get the default values, and then for that also you can write a cover group saying that when you write a cover point for that, then it will check all the default values are covered or not. That way also we can do. So there are n number of ways to do it.
okay, got it. Now I got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, then let's end up the session, and from tomorrow we will start with the assertions. So if anyone have any reference materials for assertion, just go through it. If not also, it's fine. I will start from scratch. From the beginning, I will explain. So let's cover whatever important aspects. Abhishek,
Hello,
ask something. You are muting, unmuting. Yeah.
ma'am. I want to ask, like, LRM is
Yeah.
like only for practice.
See, LRM is like for system verilog. This is a very good reference manual. If you have any queries, even when you go to an industry to work, so there if you get some doubts also, you can go through that. That is a standard document basically. You will have the exact information from the LRM. Always you can believe on that. You can have a reference of it.
Ma'am, I want to know, like, what type of doubt I can get and it will get resolved in LRM. Can you give some example, like?
For example,
Not getting.
there are you don't know, you got something like for example, in coverage only, you felt like you need some, like you want to get the coverage information. So then you can go and check, like in coverage, there are any built-in methods or what. So insert, you will have all the system verilog features there. So it will say like these methods are there, all that. So you can believe on that because that is a standard document. So LRM is nothing but a document, okay, for the system verilog. I suppose you know that, right?
Yeah, ma'am. I know. I study actually only for interface. Like, there are a lot of different methods to write interface.
Has lot of information. It's vast, means it gives from basic to the end. So whatever you require, those things you can read and come back, and that's how it.
Actually, I started directly without studying SV and UVM. So I'm not getting much. What is there?
So Abhishek, what are you currently studying or you are working?
No, I'm studying only.
Okay, MTech or BTech? Electronics itself or?
My MTech completed last year.
Okay, so now you are currently working in any company?
No, ma'am. From 1 year, I'm not working.
Okay, so have you taken any course related to design and verification?
Ma'am, in semi-design only.
Oh, you've taken. So it is done. Or you.
Hello, ma'am. Your voice is breaking.
I'm asking, like, is your course is done or are you currently taking the course?
Ma'am, your course only. Before that, I didn't took any course.
Okay, this workshop thing only. Other than that, you don't know before, right?
No.
Okay. So first, taking the LRM guidance is always good. Even I prefer that. But before that, you should know all the concepts, right? Means it will be very tough for you to take everything from the book, right? So like how in the workshop I have explained about the coverage, all that. Likewise, we have a sessions for system Verilog and UVM. Those things you can take it and then you can go through the LRM. Then it will help you. But just by reading LRM, it is not that effective because there are so many things in that you don't know which one is important, which one is not, right? So if you are interested, you can ping me related the course related to the actual course of design verification. I can let you know about it.
I'm already doing. I like SVU teachers. I completed that.
Okay, okay. So where you have taken the course?
Ma'am, in semi design only. I'm telling.
Okay, so you have completed with the course then, system Verilog and UVM, all that.
No, only system Verilog.
Oh, okay. So you are comfortable with that, the system Verilog, or you have
Now I'm getting like till OOP concept you teaches. So
yeah.
till that I'm okay.
Okay, okay, fine. Okay, you just ping me in WhatsApp. I will talk to you because others are also there, right?
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. What about the Srinivas? How you are working or studying? About Vaishali, I know. Shalu also I know. Daman I know. Kiran also I know today. What about Srinivas? Are you there? Okay, fine. Okay, guys, let's meet tomorrow. We'll have a session on assertions, and then we'll discuss further. Okay.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, I had a doubt, ma'am. Ma'am, for digital domain interviews, ma'am, can you please suggest few important topics, ma'am, which we can prepare?
Okay, so digital interviewer.
Ma'am, like digital domain related interviews, ma'am.
Digital domain interviews, where do we have for what you have applied for digital?
Ma'am, I haven't applied, ma'am, but while preparation, like on which concepts can we give more importance like that?
See, first of all, they will ask you all the basics, okay, on the digital means like what you can say, different means like different gates, all that, right? Means and gate, two input and gate. How can you write and make an like how with using 2:1 marks, how to implement an AND gate, how to implement an OR gate. Like these questions can come from the basic gates. So you should know all the gates, all that, right? Those things will be there. And then it's like the other things are these are there, right? Mealy machines, all that. Mealy model, Moore model, all those things will be there. And then you should be knowing all the combinational circuits, at least the basic combination circuits, what they are, what are the truth table. So if all these things you have, you can write a Verilog. If you have a good knowledge of Verilog HDL, then you can write a hardware programming language. When can you write a hardware programming language? When you know that particular combinational circuit and when you know that particular truth table, right? So this is all a flow. So those things they will expect from you. And there could be some logical questions on digital electronics. So if you are strong on basics, any kind of question comes to you, you can answer. So I always suggest anyone to be strong on their basics. If you don't know the advanced concepts, no one will say like why you don't know the advanced concepts, because you didn't get chance to work on it, you didn't get. But basics, everyone will be very interesting, right? You know it. That's why you concentrate on the basic questions. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
How about someone 4 4 year experience, like what is the expectation industry?
For 4 year experience, see, basically, mostly they will be asking you about your projects. So, what kind of projects have you worked on so far?
Ma'am, just like IP verification only, but like not the standard, but the proprietary IP.
Okay. So, I told you yesterday also, once you share me your resume, it will be helpful to me to guide you.
Okay.
So
Sure. Okay.
see, basically what they will do is for an experienced people, first they will also, for experienced people also, the interview will be like this only. First they will ask some digital questions and then some very log like block, some things are there, right? What are the difference between blocking, non-blocking? First round, basically they will just test the basic things. And in system Verilog, you know something or not. And it all depends on the interviewer. Some will do this, some will directly ask you like what is your current experience, and based on your current experience and what all things you have worked on. If you have mentioned some protocols, no means APB, AHB, AXI. So based on protocols, they will ask you the questions. So experienced people, the tip is to revolve them around your projects, because your projects are unique to you. They might not know the same things, right? So you know about your project very well. So it's always good to revolve the interviewer around your project, so that you will be more confident and they will listen from you, like what all you have done. But I suggest don't fake it. Whatever you have done it, you tell them that this I have done, this I have done, this I have done, this I know very clearly, this I have theoretical knowledge, this I have taken with my curiosity some from workshop. In workshop, I got this much knowledge. So if any work related to this will come in my future projects, I'll be able to work on it. Like that, you can tell them. So then what they will understand is, okay, they know these things, he doesn't know these things. So these things, if I give some little inputs, he will be able to work further. This kind of mindset will be there. Some people will be there. What they'll do is, I know this, I know this, I know that, everything they will tell. But when they ask something, they can't even open their mouth. So in that way, the interviewer will not show some interest on that, right? So that's why. And your 4 years of experience in the same company, or you have switched from different companies?
Different company.
Okay, okay. In that case, you would have done some projects, right? So focus on your projects. You prepare like the. I don't say you have to mugify or something, but what I will say is anything is there regarding a project. You should have some cheat note. You have to write like in project what all you were responsible. First you have to explain what is your project about. Enter it's a subsystem or a particular IP, whatever it is, and then inside that IP, what is that IP for in your architecture? What is that responsible for? Why do we have it basically? And then you have to explain about your responsibility in that entire IP verification. What were you responsible for? Were you just writing the test case? Were you extracting the features and then developing the test cases, and then you were part of the regression checkup, and then you were part of any debugging, all these things. So you have to tell them like what exactly you have worked on. So based on that, they will understand what you haven't, and better be genuine to them. If you haven't worked on something, you just say that I didn't get a chance to work on that. I got a chance to work on this, and they will ask you like what are the critical bugs you have worked so far. So you can mention some if you have done, or if you haven't done also, or from any of your colleagues who have done, no, you can try to understand from them like what they have worked on. So at least that bug you can tell them, but you have to understand like how you would have worked in the same way. Those insights you have to get from them, so that you can tell them like this kind of bugs has come, so our team we have worked like this, like that also you can tell. So basically that way. Can I know which company you are working from, Daman?
So right now I'm not working, but just wanted to know.
Okay, before you were working. Okay.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, as a fresher, is there any chance to get in MNCs
Yeah,
like Intel and all?
not Intel, but any of the verification engineer you go first, because freshers, as you have some knowledge, you start applying. there are opportunities, some of the opportunities you will be coming across, right? So as an intern also it's fine. You just apply and you start working. With that, no, your practical knowledge will enhance just by taking some courses.
Ma'am, like 1 year gap all. Hello.
There would be some reason, right? Why you wouldn't have got. So you can tell the same reason. Like for this reason, I couldn't. No, but still, I am focused to work on this career itself. I don't want to deviate. You just tell them how much interested you are. Basically, there will be someone who will be looking for some.
But ma'am, mostly I saw on LinkedIn the vacancies is only come for experienced guy.
Yeah, but I have saw some for freshers also recently. I shared with some of my students. It's from Amraj we have, and there is some interns also. So you just ping me once in WhatsApp. I'll share it with you. You try to apply for them also. If you get any chance, you can.
Are those in product company or service company? Which company you
Amraj
have?
is a service-based company. And Daman, if you have 4 years of experience, I can refer you.
When do you have anything in Delhi NCR maybe?
No, in service-based company, in one service-based company, they are searching for 3 to 20 years of experience. So to them, I can refer you.
Okay.
Yeah. You both share me your resume and ping me in WhatsApp. I will guide you whatever. Whenever I get some opportunities, I can share with you. So you can apply for those and give it a try. And Abhishek, you have to enhance your. Daman has already some experience. It's a little bit easy for him to get. But for you, you have to get the UBM concepts, all this familiar. As you are a fresher, right? But you don't stop your job hunt. But before, as you have time, you have to focus on different concepts. If you add stuff in your resume only, it will be easy for you to get into the VLSI industry.
Okay, ma'am.
So if you want to take any course, then let me know if for the UVM or next the interview preparation. Everything I can guide you. But just that both of you share your resume, based on that I can comment. Okay. And Daman, I think you don't need any course, but just like you need some referrals and some interview preparation tips, if you can, that will be enough. Is
Yes,
what.
ma'am. Actually, I'm trying very hard for the past 2-3 months. Okay, sure. We can discuss offline. Like how.
That should be better. Okay, fine. And Srinivas in Chennai, I don't have any. But what is your current experience? He doesn't talk. How can I help? Fine, then let's end up the session. And Abhishek and Daman, you both can ping me. I will help you out, whatever help I can do. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all.